Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Ministry of Health reports 385 new COVID-19 cases in the last 3 days as the national immunization campaign continues in all governorates of the Sultanate. The implementation of the first and second phases of the fishing port development project in the Wilayah of Qasab in the Musandam governorate is completed. And the Agriculture and Fisheries Development Fund agrees to finance 12 projects. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Ministry of Health announced 11 deaths and 385 new cases of COVID-19 in the Sultanate in the last 3 days. It also registered 694 recovered cases. The ministry also reported that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 300,914, while the total number of deaths reached 4,020. The total recovered cases reached 289,450. The ministry indicated that the number of inpatients during the 24 hours is 19, bringing the total number to 183, of which 89 are in intensive care units. The number of those vaccinated against COVID-19 in Oman Convention and Exhibition Center reached 11,000 daily as the national campaign for immunization against COVID-19 continues in all governorates of the Sultanate. The medical cadres ensured against the vaccine is safe and that side effects are very rare. The vaccination process continues for the targeted categories in the center is witnessing a good turnout from the citizens, which stresses on their awareness towards this pandemic. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources has completed the implementation of the first and second phases of the project to develop the fishing port in the Wilayah of Qasab in the Musandam governorate at a cost of 1,600,000 Omani riyals. The head of the fishing port in the Wilayah of Qasab explained in a statement to the Oman News Agency that these works consisted in establishing services, facilities on that land that was allocated from the transport port. He noted that the amount of the fishing land during the first 5 months of the year amounted to 2,500 tons of fresh fish and 325,000 kilos of dry fish. The Board of Directors of Agriculture and Fisheries Development Fund agreed to finance 12 projects during its second meeting this year. The cost of these projects reached around 1 million Omani riyals. 5 projects relate to agriculture sector, in addition to 6 projects in the fisheries sector and 1 project in food security. The 12 projects will contribute in generating revenue to fund development, agriculture and fisheries sectors and their sustainability, in addition to strengthening food security system and create job opportunities. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Saud bin Hamoud Al-Habsi, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources, Chairman of the Board of Directors of Agriculture and Fisheries Development Fund. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources stressed that the percentage of accomplishment of the fisherman village in Masira Island reached more than 80% in its first stage. The area of the project is 34,000 square meters and it includes residential buildings, ice-making units, cold stores, health facilities, petrol station, shops and boat maintenance workshops. The project will contribute in raising the economic revenues of the fishermen in the island, in addition to increasing the contribution of fisheries sector in the gross domestic product. The Omani Water and Wastewater Services Company Hire announced that the water desalination plant from Sohar to Al Dhahira Governorate will start its trial operations at the end of this year, with the project's completion rate reaching 81%. The project being implemented includes a water transmission line from the desalination plant in the Wilaya of Sohar to the Governorate of Al-Dhahira by constructing 15 reservoirs with a storage capacity of 451,000 cubic meters in Sohar, Ibri and Dank. The project faces major challenges in its construction work in terms of difficult geographical nature, as well as intersections with other services such as oil and gas lines. In addition, the coronavirus pandemic posed another challenge to the implementation of the project. The Oman Medical Specialty Board has signed a funding agreement with the Oman Liquefied Natural Gas Company for approving the Pseudoreferral Hospital as a training center for medical cadres in Oman. The agreement comes within the framework of partnership between the government and private sectors. It aims to increase the efficiency of the health system in the hospital through providing an educational environment equipped with the latest technologies, as well as improving the skills of those working in the health sector. In cooperation with the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth, Omantel launched the Digital Olympics Talent Competition. More details in the following report.
Within its keen efforts to promote electronic games and sports, Omantel launched the Digital Olympics Talent Competitions for its employees in cooperation with the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth. The event aims to discover some of the talents among the participants, who will be evaluated online within the framework of ideas, innovation and individual talents through 14 competitions across digital platforms.
Omantel has always been a pioneer in building employee engagement programs that results in employee loyalty and employee engagement. Such initiatives always create a very good atmosphere for employees to really be productive and be able to give all their all in the organization. DOT is a combination between Omantel Talent and Omantel Olympics in a new way. We hope that this program will allow employees to be very engaged, will discover their talents and will be able to think outside of the box in terms of how they can bring whatever they have discovered in themselves into their work life.
At Omantel, we are aiming to have this kind of engagement exercise or engagement activity that will ensure high level of engagement and high level of satisfaction level. Especially our main goals and our main aim to spread happiness at workplace, and this definitely will help us to achieve this. As a long-term goal, Omantel aimed to find talent and find a team who can represent Omantel internally and externally and participate in different activities inside Oman and outside Oman.
It is worth noting that this is the 4th edition of the competition. The organizers seek to harness technology and its innovative solutions to enhance business growth of various sectors in the Sultanate, including the youth sector. Salih bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
Still to come in our news bulletin. A new natural product to keep fruits and vegetables for longer period is developed by students of UTAS Niswa. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. And now for the international world, Iran's foreign minister met with his Japanese counterpart in Tehran today to discuss de-escalation of the tensions in the region. The Eastern News Agency reported Japanese Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi discussed bilateral, regional and international issues with Mohammad Javad Zarif. The two-day visit in the first by the Japanese official since Ibrahim Raisi became Iran's new president and the first since the Japanese Prime Minister visited Iran in 2019. Motegi is in Tehran at the official invitation of Zarif, and he will meet with another Iranian officials, including Raisi's nominated foreign minister Hossein Amirdolahi. In 2019, former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe visited Iran's top leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei as the interlocutor for the former U.S. President Donald Trump, hoping to ease tensions between Washington and Tehran. Recently, Japan donated some 3 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine to Iran, which suffered the worst virus outbreak in the Middle East. Taliban fighters who rolled into Afghanistan's capital and other cities in recent days have been attempting to normalize relations with the country's general population. Some were seen at the checkpoint in Kabul today, searching vehicles in what members claimed was an effort to ensure security. The Taliban have pledged to restore law and order that could take time and might lead them to resort to brutal measures. The city's population has quintupled to 5 million over the last 2 decades. The Taliban, who have had no major presence in Kabul since 2001, have been going door to door, registering names and collecting weapons in recent days. Meanwhile, the Taliban's top political leader, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, has arrived in Kabul for talks on forming a new government. The Taliban has said they will not make announcements on their government until August 31st, deadline for the U.S. troops withdrawal phases. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris arrived in Singapore today at the start of a short tour to Southeast Asia. The trip appeared to a continuation of efforts by President Joe Biden's administrations to strengthen ties in the Indo-Pacific region. The Taliban takeover of Afghanistan has also given new urgency to Harris' visit as she attempts to reassure allies of American resolve following the chaotic end of a 2-decade war. After 3 days in Singapore, the vice president moves on to Vietnam. Catastrophic flooding in Middle Tennessee left at least 10 people dead and dozens missing as a record-shattering rainfall washed away homes at rural roads. Footage showed extensive damage to a neighborhood in Waverly, with the flipped over cars, wrecked buildings and roads turned up. Just to the east of Waverly, the town of McEwen was plumed with about 17 inches of rain in less than a day, prompting water rescues, road closures and communications disruptions. The Tennessee Emergency Management Agency activated its Emergency Operations Center and state agencies that include the Tennessee National Guard, the State Highway Patrol, and Fire Mutual Aid were responding to the flooding. Authorities say the situation is dangerous and evolving and urged people to avoid travel in the affected counties. A group of students from the University of Technology and Applied Sciences in Nizwa developed a product extracted from the Assyrian palm tree, which helps in preserving fruits and vegetables for longer periods. More details in the following report.
For a long time, the Assyrian plum tree has been known by Omanis for its nutritional and health significance. While some only enjoy the delicious taste of the fruit, a group of creative students from the University of Technology and Applied Sciences in Nizwa turned extracts of this tree into a distinctive added value product. Here is their story. Many fruits and vegetables quickly perish, leading to the loss of large quantities of these products. The members of the student company Cordia Motive thought out of the box. They invented a natural resistance made from extracts of the Assyrian plum tree to extend the validity of the fruits and vegetables longer than their natural span.
Cordia Motive is a student company belongs to University of Technology and Applied Science in Nizwa. We were working since 19th of June 2020. We have 3 products. The main product is the natural resistor. The natural resistor works like protecting the vegetables and fruits from the bacteria, so it can be live with a longer life.
In addition to preserving fruits and vegetables from rotting, this purely natural product maintains the quality of the fruits without causing any harm to the human health. In normal circumstances, strawberries, for example, can be kept for 3 days, but with this solution, they can be kept for 13 days.
The fungal bacteria is the main reason of the spoilage of fruits and vegetables, and the natural resistor works to keep out this bacteria of the vegetables and fruits, and that makes the fruits and vegetables with a longer life. We faced many challenges. Some of those challenges are the lack of the modern machines that extract the product, the lack of the raw materials, and the lack of the scientific researches about this tree.
A wonderful initiative endeavored not only to preserve the agricultural resources, but also to pay attention to the propagation and sustainability of the Assyrian plum tree due to its high economic value. صالح أبو خلفان الرحبي, ولاية of نزوة الداخلية, Governorate.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, hear the main points once again. The Ministry of Health reports 385 new COVID-19 cases in the last 3 days as the national immunization campaign continues in all governorates of the Sultanate. The implementation of the first and second phases of the fishing port development project in the Wilayah of Qasab in the Misandam Governorate is completed. And the Agriculture and Fisheries Development Fund agrees to finance 12 projects. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night and stay safe.